Welcome back to another book review. Today we're going to be talking about Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. This book was an introspective, comical, and downright concerning piece. From revenge to disassociating to incest, familial abuse, and assault, the themes of this book are just overwhelming. Now, I have read a previous novel by Sayaka Murata called Convenience Store Woman, and I absolutely adored that book. I cannot say the same for this one. This story is told from the point of view of Natsuki, who begins as a little girl who believes she has magical powers and is from a planet they call Popinpobopia. She also believes her existence is a hindrance to her mother, sister, and father's perfect family. And as the novel progresses, we watch as Natsuki grows up slowly but quickly breaks down mentally. We watch as she succumbs to her mind, with a toy hedgehog named Pia being the metaphorical devil on her shoulder, pushing her that extra mile in the wrong direction to do some pretty horrible things. What began as a novel that was a testament to innocent childlike wonder and imagination very quickly became a rather horrific and gruesome scene, as Natsuki becomes fully consumed by her past experiences, her childhood trauma and mindset. It leads to a line being crossed that was just like every other book out there. It took a good story and turned it into a book that your least favorite teenager would be reading in an attempt to seem cool and edgy. It's the book that would get confiscated, and when asked, "Why were you reading this?" they would say, "Because the voices told me to." And they'd expect you to think that it was a reason to be friends with them. It's just cringy. Though many would argue that including gruesome things in your book makes you a better author, or that it makes it more real, because those things actually happen. I would challenge that by saying, just because something's real, does that make it good? I mean, I've seen a billion car crashes at this point in my life. That doesn't mean that I want to write about them, or that I think it's cool that they happened, or that it's an art. I think that's a cheap excuse. And our main character, Natsuki, is just genuinely a horrible person. She ruins multiple characters' lives with little repercussions, and just goes out doing bad things. Just a reminder to those of you who watch this who are authors yourselves or are into writing, it's okay to write a character with trauma who isn't just downright evil and deplorable. The Bell Jar, I would say, is my favorite example of this. Esther Greenwood, our main character in that novel, demonstrates a true mental deterioration. She gets broken, but she doesn't destroy the lives of every single person around her just for the sake of fueling her ego, which allows us to feel sympathy for her. As the reader of Earthlings, I lost all of my sympathy for Natsuki quite quickly. Trauma is not an excuse to commit crimes against humanity. And given that I absolutely adored Convenience Store Woman, this was a severely disappointing follow-up for me. While she started off with a great style in this novel, building up a childlike, innocent atmosphere, she then decided to descend into a cheap mainstream pipeline and vaporized all of my interest. Overall, there were some interesting ideas in this novel, but they were greatly overshadowed by the edgy attempts to be meaningful, much like what happened in On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. My rating for this novel would be about a war crimes out of 5, or if you're feeling a little more analytical, about a 2 out of 5. Pretty disappointing. Not going to be reading any more Sayaka Murata books, which is very unfortunate. Overall, it took me 11 sticky notes and 17 tabs to finish this novel, so not a bad ratio for that, but there's no notable chapters I have to point out. Not really a lot great that I have to point out, just disappointing. But thank you for watching. I'll try and keep up with posting more reviews, or maybe I won't. Bye-bye.